Are you suggesting that school districts are using INS funds for things for which they are not appropriate?
What do you mean by appropriate?
Well, you seem to be suggesting that they're end running the M&O process by using INS funds in some nefarious way to avoid having to spend maintenance and operation funds.
Well, see, I'm having a problem with the word like nefarious. I think it's above board. I think that they're open with it. But I got quotes here off of websites from districts, and they're very pointed that they're doing this in order to get around recapture, and they make point after point after point that they're doing this because it's not recaptured. One district said that they were putting money into the INS. They couldn't use that money for teacher salaries, but by putting things like summer maintenance, putting technology and all of the different buses, the different things that you can. I wouldn't call it nefarious to do that, but they're putting that on the INS side, and that money that's not spent then on those things could be used in teacher salaries.
Which district is that?
Beg your pardon?
Which district is that?
That was Eames. The other quote that I had, or what I was referring to, and there are several that say pretty much the same thing. Let me give you, here's one by Grapevine Colleyville. Is in an answer to a Q&A, is bond money subject to recapture? No, bond money is not subject to Robin Hood. This is the main reason that property wealthy districts put as many items as possible into bond programs so as to keep costs out of the general operating budget. And I've got probably a dozen quotes here. I didn't get them all. I looked at the Calhoun County group because I didn't want to look at 1,021 districts.
All right, please tell me the names of the districts that you believe are using INS funds for M&O purposes.
Well, the 85 districts that we had in our list for Calhoun County, we found 53 that had references on the internet or newspaper articles and on their websites with respect to using INS for M&O. And as far as the names of the districts that I've written down here on this, just the quotes to make the case, I have here Glacius said the reason for the bond election to begin with was really to shelter money from Robin Hood. I have Canadian, and he said that the money would go towards a variety of items such as technology, library, books, band instruments, athletic equipment, school buses, improvements and repairs to buildings. The bond election was prompted because the state considers Canadian ISD property wealthy district, and the district must therefore send about 60% of its property tax revenue collected for day-to-day operations to the state. But all of the property tax revenues raised to pay off bonds stays with the district. Here's a Tatum. They title one of their categories that they're using their bonds M&O costs to bond funds. And they list technology, transportation, facility maintenance costs, avoiding sending revenue to the state and approximately doubling revenue in the district. Here's Eames, the one that made the other one. It says that on the bond side, that for every $1 received, Eames keeps 100%. Bond money cannot be used for teacher salaries. However, bond money can be used to pay for certain capital expenses that might otherwise be funded from M&O money, so that more funds are available for salaries. Bond money is used for capital repairs, buses, technology. Here's another one. Let me see if I can. This has to do with Austin ISD, I believe. No, this also is Eames, and they say that this money is going to heating and cooling units, buses, and more. $8 million for technology upgrades. More than $9 million will be spent on transforming classrooms to buy new furniture, desks with wheels, core working stools, cushion seats, and repaint walls orange and green.
All right, let me stop you there. Are those things capital improvements with a life expectancy of 2 or more years?
Yes, I'm not at all saying that these are not legal to be done.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the impact is with respect to the equity, the inequity that it causes. Because these can be done at the very beginning. They're not enrichment that goes on the top after you've used all of your M&O. They go into the first tier. You can adopt your compressed tax rate, never get beyond tier 1 funding. And then you can supplement or maybe add the golden pennies, which are not recaptured. And then instead of going into the copper pennies, you go into more golden pennies on the INS side. And I'm not saying that it's illegal. I'm not saying that it's immoral. I'm saying that it impacts the inequity that's prevalent in the state.
Have you done a study that would document or measure the amount of inequity that might or might not be caused by what these school districts are doing?
Actually, I did. And I went to, in 2012, I looked at the...
Once again, demonstrating
yes,
why one
yes,
never
yes.
asks an open-ended question to an expert.
Indeed.
The interest in sinking in 2012, the capital equipment on a per watt basis and the vehicles per watt for the bottom 10%, the bottom 102 districts was $3. On the top 102 districts, they spent $128 per watt for capital equipment, and for vehicles they spent $35 for a total of $163 just in that year.
Sir, I'm not sure you're answering my question. My question was specifically, have you done a study of dollars diverted into INS funds that you believe should have been M&O funds? I'm not asking in general whether wealthier districts spend more INS money than lower wealth districts.
No, and I'm talking about INS for M&O purposes. These are numbers, INS for M&O purposes. But I think that we might be missing each other on some point. I am not saying that what these districts are doing is illegal or inappropriate for the concern what the law is. What I'm saying is this is a way to skirt recapture, and it adds more inefficiency to the M&O side. INS and M&O are not separated that like they used to be, where you just thought about them being two completely different things. They're intermingled now. They're like one unit. And these numbers I was giving you are capital equipment. These are the items that have, and I think they're using 1 or more year now instead of 2. It should be 2, but I think that what I'm hearing, they're using 1 year life expectancy of more than 1 year vehicles. And this doesn't include things like band uniforms, band instruments, and computers anything that'd be under $5,000. And the total I got in 2012 was $163 per watt for the top 102 districts, the wealthiest 102 districts in the state.
Is that, all right, let me stop you there.